So I am back at it again with the mini mic, and I would like to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't checked out the RT Life store, definitely go ahead and do it. I have plenty of t-shirts that were designed by me, Chargers, Challengers, all Mopar stuff. You'll very much like it. It's in the description below. You know, each morning I check out a couple of websites that I really like. The two most popular have to be Allpar, and now it's MoparInsiders.com. Mopar Insiders is slowly becoming one of my favorites just because of the content that they continue writing. They are reporting something that's extremely interesting to me. Big time disappointment, though. Sometime last year, it seemed as though there were sources that were fairly confident that there was going to be two performance-minded Rams. You had the TRX and the TR. Now, the TRX had a Hellcat-powered 6.2-liter V8 with the supercharger. Now, obviously, it wouldn't have 700 horsepower. I believe it was in the mid-sixes or so. But the TR was the one that I was extremely interested in. The TR trim level would get a naturally aspirated 426 7-liter V8 Hemi. And this is why I became a little bit on the bullish side when it came to, you know, the Chargers and the Challengers, you know, eventually getting the 426. If they made the 426 for the Rams, I just don't see why they wouldn't want to put it in the Chargers and the Challengers. When you have an engine, a lot of times it increases profit margins when you have them in as many models as possible. So when I found out that they were coming up with two Rams, two trim levels, both performance-minded, one was the Hellcat engine, one was a naturally aspirated 426, I was ecstatic. Okay, I couldn't believe it. I was very happy. But it appears as though they are going to be putting the Ram Rebel TR project on the shelf. Now, it doesn't mean that they're completely canceling it out or anything like that, but they're going full on with the 6.2 supercharged Hellcat engine. They're definitely going to execute that. But according to the article, it does say that they are looking at other options. One of the options is the heavily speculated inline 6 with a twin turbo. Now, I've heard this so many times, the inline 6 with the forced air, inline 6 with the forced air. I really think that this is going to happen. Okay, it's just the way it is. Too many different sources are reporting similar things, and you know, it kind of stinks because the longer that this 7-liter 426 doesn't make its way into production, the worse off it's the odds of it never happening is going to happen. You know, like every year the regulations get stricter, and you know, we kind of need to see something before we enter the whole, you know, electrical car age, you know. So I know the inline 6 with the twin turbo is going to have plenty of performance. It's going to put out a lot of horsepower and torque. We see that in the BMW M's and everything like that. There's no shortage of performance. That being said, I think I could speak for almost the entire Mopar community when I say that the 426 would be lights out. It would be much more well received. A lot of people would much rather have that big V8 naturally aspirated. It would be a torque monster. According to them, the 7-liter would probably, in the truck, now obviously if it made its way into the Chargers and the Challengers, the horsepower and torque rating would be completely different. But in the TR, the 7-liter would be basically a modded 392, but it would put out about 500 125 horsepower and 535 pound-feet of torque, which is a healthy amount of performance in a truck. I'll tell you, the towing capability would be probably very good. But because of that rumor last year, there's no way that it's not going to make its way into the Chargers and the Challengers. Then you had the Elephant come out. And, you know, the Elephant is extremely interesting because a lot of people are coming up with the argument of, well, they came out with a crate engine. Why would they waste their money on just a crate? Now, the crate engine, if it just remains a crate engine, it's not going to be very profitable for them, 100%. There's no doubt about it. So a lot of people are under the impression because it's a crate, it will make its way into production because Dodge is going to have to increase their profit margins. But my argument to that is, you know, Dodge has been notorious for building out concepts that never made its way into production that ended up costing them a lot of money, way more than developing an engine. Okay, do you know how many concepts have been brought to trade shows and they never even came close to actually making it to the assembly line? The reason why Dodge and many other companies do something like that, like a crate engine, like a concept, is not, you know, it's to create buzz. It's to, you can't put a price tag on the amount of publicity and marketing and exposure that the Elephant got. Another thing that I would like to point out is that when they were showing off the Elephant engine, they did it in a very heavily modified, a 68 Charger. Okay, how much money did they dump into that 68 Charger? And it'll never see its way into production. Okay, that is just a heavily modified old school car that they fixed up. I still believe, like, if they were really looking to get the Elephant into the production lineup, don't you think that they would have shown it in a modern Charger or a modern Challenger? So, you know, that's some things to keep in mind. Obviously, I'm pulling for the 7-liter 426, whether it's in its naturally aspirated or whether it's forced air. I mean, me personally, I don't care. I think it would be awesome just to have a 426 in the lineup. It's a Hemi legend. I still think that if they're going to bring the 426 back, I think it's going to have forced air in the Chargers and the Challengers. Who knows? I really don't think anybody 100% knows. I still think that the longer that this 7-liter takes, the harder it's going to become. There's a lot of people that are saying, well, in 2025, or, you know, in 6 years, 7 years from now, they're making predictions 6-7 years down the road. Who knows where we're going to be? You know, that is so far down the line. You know, some regulations are going to be coming out, and, you know, but, you know, I don't want to poo-poo on people's dreams, because let me tell you, you could look at my channel dating all the way back to, you know, 2017. I've been talking about the 426, but according to this, it's not looking too good.